Hey guys, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman, and it's time for your dose of some fragrance content. Today I'll talk about a beastly performing affordable scent that's made by Lattafa. It's called Atlas, it looks like this, and unfortunately I almost cannot stand this one. As usual, let's start by taking a very quick look at the presentation and the bottle design of Atlas from Lattafa. This is how the box of Atlas looks. It has, I think, it's a nicely presented fragrance. The cardboard box is quite thick. It feels of high quality. On the front you got the name of the fragrance, the name of the brand, and the important stuff like bottle size, which is 55 milliliters, and the concentration, which is EDP. On the back you get some additional information. You open up the box like this, and inside is where the actual bottle sits, and this is the way that the bottle looks. It's quite heavy actually, which is a bit of an unfortunate fact, because this is, as I said, is only 55 milliliters as a bottle size. The cap is metallic, it's also quite heavy, and the whole presentation is quite nice. And the good thing about this one is the fact that it doesn't completely copy the fragrance which has been the inspiration, which serves the inspiration for Atlas, something that I really appreciate a lot. Okay, now let's check out the sprayer in action, because it's actually one of the better sprayers that you can find on a Lattafa fragrance currently. And let's talk about the scent itself. The sprayer is pressurized, although it's not the best pressurized sprayer in the world that you'll find, but still, you know, again, it's one of the better Lattafa sprayers. And now, onto the scent of Atlas from Lattafa. The inspiration for this fragrance, the original fragrance that serves as an inspiration for Atlas, is Paris Megamare. Now, the original fragrance is an interesting one, which smells quite unique, and it's very divisive. There are a certain number of people, a certain percentage of people who really like the original fragrance, and then there's probably a bigger percentage of people who don't like the original fragrance and almost cannot stand it. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people who are not huge fans of the original scent. It's an interesting, quite unique smelling fragrance that smells very, very salty and very aquatic. Also, the original one has a strong green touch, some ambergris, maybe a hint of woods on the dry down. And Lattafa have done a pretty good job with, copying the original scent. It's not a one-to-one clone. To my nose, this has less citruses in the opening. It concentrates more, focuses more on that aquaticness and the salty nature of the original fragrance, and this feels a little bit more like aquatic, a little bit more marine, a little bit more salty than the original scent. It lacks some of the green touch, it lacks some of that sort of a seaweed note that you'll find in the original fragrance. This is more salty, more aquatic, and sort of a slightly floral. On the dry down you'll find the ambergris, you'll find some ambroxan, you'll find a bit of the woods. So in a way this smells very similar to to Megamare, although it's not a one-to-one clone. To be honest, I don't really like the original fragrance, and I don't really like Atlas. Even the twist that Lattafa have done with this one, I still don't like it. Now, I'm not going to let this fact, cloud my judgment on the fragrance itself. The fact that I don't like the original has nothing to do with what I'm, telling you about, Atlas. It's salty, it's marine, has a hint of citruses in the opening. There's a bit of a green touch, there's the ambergris, there's a bit of woods on the dry down, there's a hint of sweetness, and maybe a hint of floral touch as well. And there is also a hint of that sort of an seaweed note that you'll find in the original, but this again feels more like it feels more orientated towards the marine and salty nature of the original fragrance. In the air smells quite similar to Megamare. Up close you'll find the differences. This also is a little bit harsher, of course lacks the quality of the original scent, which is to be expected, but it's a good clone of Megamare. Probably not like superb, but still very good. If you like salty, marine, aquatic fragrances with ambergris with a bit of a green touch in them, you'll probably end up enjoying Atlas. Now let's move on to the performance. Here is where this actually shines a lot. The original fragrance is an absolute beast, and Atlas, although not as strong as the original fragrance, still is a very, very strong and lasts for a very long time. On my skin this easily lasts 9 to 10 hours, maybe even more than that, and also projects quite nicely. But compared to the original fragrance, this leaves shorter on skin and also projects less, which is a good thing in my opinion, because it can become obnoxious at some point in time. The original is so strong, but again, Atlas on its own actually is a strong fragrance. 9 to 10 hours of performance, strong projection in the first 2 to 3 hours, so you know, it's a very strong scent. Price wise, this is a little bit more expensive than some Lattafas, especially considering that it comes in a 55 milliliter bottle size, so it's not like 80 or 100 milliliters. Around here where I live, this costs somewhere between 30 to 40 euros, so you're looking at about 35 to 45 dollars in the US. At that price point, I would say it's a little bit overpriced in my personal opinion, although still it's a lot cheaper than the original fragrance that it has been inspired by. I still would have preferred if this one was slightly cheaper, again, especially considering the bottle size. And when it comes to versatility, this is a unisex scent that in my opinion definitely leans to the masculine side. And it's, of course, because of its sort of a marine aquatic nature, it's a lot better suited for the warmer months of the year, you know, late spring, summertime, early fall. But in reality, you can wear this one throughout the year. It's quite versatile. And at the end, a few final words about Atlas from Lattafa. First of all, I know that this review is quite late because this has been around for a while, probably around about a year. But again, I don't like that much the original fragrance, so I never bothered picking up Atlas because of that fact and because it was a little bit overpriced, as I already said. And in fact, this bottle is not my own. Actually, this is a bottle that a friend of mine bought some time ago, so he gave it to me so I can test it a little bit and do my review on this fragrance. So again, I'm not going to let my personal sort of disliking of the original scent cloud my judgments. I would say that Atlas is a good take on Megamare. It has strong performance, lasts for a long time, projects really nicely. Compared to the original fragrance, it's very affordable. You know, it's a fragrance that if you like this style of scents will probably work great for you, especially in summertime, and it will get you smelling close to a Megamare. So those are the good things about you know, about Atlas. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the scent profile. Also, this one has a bit of harshness, especially in the opening, especially in the first few minutes. If you get past those first few minutes, then you'll probably enjoy Atlas if you like Megamare and fragrances done in a similar style. All around, I would say that if you're looking for a clone of Megamare, Atlas is definitely a fragrance that you should check out. But if you're not familiar with the original fragrance, definitely try this one before you buy it, because it can be divisive, it can be challenging, and again, I personally am not a huge fan, but I think Lattafa at the end of the day have done a pretty good job with Atlas, especially considering that this has really strong performance. So guys, in today's video I reviewed Atlas from the brand of Lattafa, which turned out to be a pretty good clone of Paris's Megamare. It will get you smelling close to the original fragrance for a fraction of the price. I hope that you found today's video interesting or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video for your dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.